consecutive, so we had our place was alive with 80 kids for the last 80 kids each week for the last 2 weeks. So the staff are exhausted. They're all laying down upstairs, fanning themselves and trying to recover from 2 weeks of wonderful activity around here with the kids this summer. So it was an exciting time. I happened to be away. Coincidentally.
Well done.
But just a reminder that we usually have 5 weeks in a row, but because next week is 4th of July, we figured most people would not be able to attend next week, so we will not have a session next week, but we'll pick up again, and we have 4 more sessions then for the summer. That's the schedule. But today, I'm very happy to welcome and introduce to you Thich Hanh Dat. And Thich Hanh Dat and I have been friends for about the last 10 years or so. When I met him, and he's been coming here to the Earth and Spirit Center frequently for various courses. And actually, we have taken a field trip to his monastery in Corydon, Indiana. So he has a monastery in Corydon, just outside of Corydon. It's in the hills, the monastery of the 10,000 Buddhas. And if you've never been there, it's a wonderful day trip. They have a beautiful ground there. You go up this gravel road up a hill, and all of a sudden you feel like you're in Thailand. I mean, who would have thought in the cornfields of southern Indiana there would be a Buddhist monastery? I mean, remarkable. Beautiful statues, beautiful meditation hall, accommodations as well for small retreats. It's a lovely, lovely place. So perhaps we can work out a time when we can go up there again to schedule a field trip from the Earth and Spirit Center to go up there. But Thich Hanh Dat divides his time now between Louisville and Houston. He has a monastery and then also a temple on Cane Run Road in south of Louisville on Cane Run.
No, on Newcut.
On Newcut, excuse me. I'm sorry, Newcut. And they're building a bigger temple there as well now. They're just getting ready to construct a new one in that area. He also is taught at Bellarmine and at Indiana University Southeast, but currently he's teaching on the faculty of University of Houston as well. So he's here for the summertime between his sessions at the University of Houston, getting the new monastery, or getting the new temple built here in Louisville. So we're very honored and very happy to welcome you. I know that Thich Hanh Dat has been a teacher for many people, helping us learn meditation. He's also been an inspiring leader for the Vietnamese community here in Louisville as well. And his topic today is going to be on the proper attitudes to bring to meditation. So it's very practical guidance. The attitudes can be very helpful for us as we begin to meditate, as we explore meditation. So please help me welcome Thich Hanh Dat. We're very happy to have him. Thank you. I want to apologize. I just told him I have to leave. I've got to go to a funeral in Chicago, so I want to get in there before rush hour. So I'm going to have to leave in about. I'm going to be in the car driving out in about a half hour. So excuse me that I'm not going to be able to stay with you all today.
Thank you. Thanks, Reverend Joel, and thanks, Sandra. Yeah, we had a wonderful relationship with Reverend Joel and this center for many years, probably around a decade. Not 1 year, but I guess most every year I come down here, or sometimes we take some of you to come up to our monastery in Corydon, who've been up there before. Or some of you. And we just discussed that, especially late fall this year, if Reverend Joe and the center could make any kind of arrangement to have some kind of meditation retreat up there, either camping overnight, whichever way it's up to Reverend and the center. But again, it's just lovely for me to come down here again to share with you my own experience and knowledge about meditation. And I know that most of you are experienced meditators, so I'd like to share some of my ideas I think that may be helpful. And when Reverend Joe and Miss emailed me asking about the topic, at that time I had a topic about how to meditate effectively, but on the course of my preparation, I found out that this, I think the topic would be more practical, the proper attitudes to toward meditation or why you do meditation. But before I go into this topic, I have to introduce myself again if you don't know me. So this is my CV. I got my bachelor's degree at Penn State University when I was layman. Then I just go engineering, but I switched different realm to a spiritual realm. I got my MA degree. I went back to see from 1990 to 2009. That's why for a while I went back to school to get my MA, and I just finished my PhD degree last year. And actually, when I was a monk, at that time I thought that I would let go of all of worldly or secular education. But later on, somehow, when it was around this era, Bellarmine University was the first university I taught the Buddhist introduction to Buddhism and meditation in the non-credit programs. And later on, I taught at different schools like IUS, UL, and so forth, other non-credit. But later on, I thought that it's worthy for me to go back to school. That's why I decided in the year 2009, I went back to school to get the degree. And officially now I'm teaching at IUS and University of Houston. So IUS, I teach online, and University of Houston, I teach online and face-to-face too. That's why I just been back here only for the summer. I have to go back to Houston to teach again and take some time in campus. So that is my short bio. So let me go back to my topic today, proper attitudes when doing meditation. Before I move on, let me ask you, how many of you do meditation at least 1 hour per day? Alright, okay, that's too high for you, right? About 30 minutes. Wow. About 10 minutes. Okay. So, right, regardless of traditions, regardless of who we are, meditation now is so important in our life. Whichever way we want to utilize this. At IUS and at University of Houston, I taught that class mindfulness and its multidisciplinary applications. This applies in every field, in every profession, education, business, politics, spirituality, psychology. It's all kind of fields, all kind of professions, it's field that we can apply meditation. Because why? Everything comes from the mind. If you calm our mind down, everything will be fine. I used to tell the younger one, watch out for your monkey mind. Our mind jump here and there. That's why we need to have some tools to transform our mind whichever way. Illustrate that in our traditions, in our Buddhist tradition, our Christian kind of tradition, yes, we have the faith in Buddha, Jesus, and so forth. But besides the faith, we need to have some tools to transform our own mind. Besides, we get the support from our spiritual beings. So that's why meditation is so important. And the reason why it's not changing the topic, but it's similar. But the reason why I pick up this topic because I think most of you have been doing meditation for many years, and I don't want to repeat again how to do meditation, how to follow your breath, how to do the walking meditation, and so forth. I think you're familiar with that kind of teaching and practice, and that's why I think it's proper attitude is so important for what we do meditation. Without this kind of attitudes, it's not easy for us to calm the mind down. Yeah. So before I move on, let me ask you, how many of you have attended some kind of, MBSR? MBCT, ICT, DBT. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
How many of you have that kind of certification? No, but you attend, right? How many of you attend that? Oh, few. So probably you know this, especially the MBSR. You know what MBSR is stand for? Mindfulness based stress reduction. You know what that is in the I just saw there's a paper over there, right? MBCT, mindfulness based cognitive therapies. ICT is not an ICT test, but acceptance and commitment therapies, and so forth. So I don't talk about that much, but this is related to the proper attitudes, and I'm glad to discuss again today. Yeah. So in the MBSR, the mindfulness-based stress reduction, they list out 7 attitudes. You can familiar with that? How many of you know that kind of attitude? Okay, that's what I think this is better for us to review. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here it is my presentation today. So I think it's pretty much to do with the mind. If we have this kind of attitude, it's much easy for us to work on our meditation. First one, the value is number one important to you. Have you ever heard about this before? No. How many of you? You raise your hand, please. If you have, okay. The last one, of course, you know, right? First mind, you know, right? Just we will discuss about this. Okay. Forgiving, trustful mind, continuous mind, non-striving, acceptance, let go, getting more mind, compassionate mind, and here, the last one, commitment. I think it's overall, it is very important attitudes that we need to have. Otherwise, it's not easy. For example, if you sit down and start to meditate, what happens if some image of several people that got into your nerves before, that you could not get rid of their image in your mind? There's no way for you to concentrate that. So forgiveness is so important. Of course, it's universal in any traditions. I just want to give that example. Yeah. So again, let's be more about value. Now here. Okay. Now, what our value of life? Do I cover you? A little bit. You like to listen? Yeah. What do you want your life to be about? Here, yes, we see the place of the people who pass away, right? What we want to achieve for our life. At the end of our life, we have some kind of achievement, accomplishment. What we want to do? What the purpose of our life here? Helping our children, helping our community, helping our society, and so forth and so forth. What we want to achieve? What the value that we want to put in this lifetime while we're still alive? What kind of direction we want to choose? Spiritual life, education, and so forth. Of course, every one of us have different goals. Taught to values and locally constrained. The action you value with your field, you need to recognize your value. Yeah, of course, everyone has different value of life. Okay, sorry. Value, what is getting in the way of value thinking? When we live in some avoidance, we want to avoid anything that may approach. It may be too much for us. We don't have clear value, clear vision, clear goal for our life. here. Now, this direction, we want to build up strong family relations. We want to build up marriage. We want to be good parents. We want to build up our friendship. We want to have great jobs. We want to have great education and so forth. We want to develop our spiritual life. We want to help our communities. We want to be healthy and so forth. This is the general value or goal that we want, or everyone of us like to have. For example, some of us may like to be with Jesus Christ after we pass away, and this present life. Some of us like to be great businessmen, great educators, and so forth. So that's the value we want to have in our life, right? But how does it relate to our practice of meditation, mindfulness practice? How does it relate? For example, if you want to work in your spiritual life, yes, you know, meditation enhance that value, right? The more we calm down our mind, the more we closer to our God, our Jesus, or whichever way. If you focus on, let's say, your marriage, right? Okay, when we do meditation, we know ourselves more, and of course we closer, feel comfortable, and recognize the friendship that we have with our spouse. We want to build up that strong marriage with the enhancement of meditations. You got my points? Or if we value our job, our enrollments, or our business, yes, we do meditation so that it would helpful for us. It would enhance the growth of our business, the stable of enrollments. That's I just want to give you some idea. So again, in life, every one of us need to have some kind of value in life. Need to have some kind of, you can say, goal, so that right before we pass away, we may feel that oh, I have accomplished something to that goal, and my life has some value. Remember, even especially for young people, when they just got into college, they don't know what they're doing because they don't know the value of life. So at least most of us here, right, we are from 30 upright. So we've gone through all kinds of life experience, and we know that living without some kind of value is this empty shell in our life. Is that right? Yeah. So like again, like if you are teachers, yes, the value of your life is to transmit your knowledge and experience to younger generation. And you enjoy that kind of value whenever you think about the student. Is that right? So that's why I'm talking. I want to mention about this one. Is the value is so important. So before we do, otherwise, sometimes if you sit there, we don't know what we're supposed to do. It's meaningless. If our life is meaningless, it's empty shell. We would not like to pursue anything. But if you have some value there, we pursue to that kind of value. You understand my point, right? It's so important, right? So as we recognize our value of life, we work on in any field, in any activities, even in any thinking. The next one, of course. The next step, when we start to do meditation, we need to relax ourselves. Imagine that, I think most of us has this as experience. Let's say imagine that after a day of busy in business or at work, at school and so forth, you're so tired, physically, mentally. Could you sit still? When you go back from work, could you sit on the spot? Could you sit still or you doze up? That means at least, let's say when you get back from work, right? You need to relax yourself physically and mentally. That's called the preparation for meditation too. Otherwise, if you're so nervous, if so tired, there's no way for you to focus on mind easily. If your body is so tired, yeah, you doze off easily. That's why we need to have some kind of relaxation before we do meditation. Yeah, you see that. And of course, you can lie down, right? You play this part, right? And absorb the flow, whichever. Okay, the next one is prasma. Of course, everyone know that. In doing meditation, to have prasma is so important. Now and now, right? Not the past, not the future. And we know that, right? When in the past, most time we read something and we say, oh, I wish that I could do this and that, but too late. Past. And future is coming. Well, of course, we need to make some kind of arrangement first. But if we look so much about future, expectation about future, there's no way for us to calm the mind. Can you see here? Can you see? What is that? Oh, it's just my mind. It's all kinds of, right? It's all over here. Mindful or mindful, right? We have to be with the present moment. Yeah, it's so important. And the next one, we hear that, right? Awareness of what is taking place right now. Freedom from past, as it says, freedom from past failure, sense of excitement and opportunities, sense of appreciation for everyone you know right here, now. And when we pass this present moment, the present moment, we cannot get back. We know that. So that's why, especially this morning, we will be blessed we come together to share our knowledge of practice meditation or whichever way. It's so important. And after that, after 12 o'clock, everyone go back to our house, or we do our own business, and we will not get back here, probably another year. Okay, so this present mind is so important. And the next one, yes, suspending judgment. Just whatever coming up is still important. Now, I think last few times when they came here, I talked about non-judgmental thought. It starts with our breath. Probably most of you know, right? When we start our breath, we just follow our breath in and out without any kind of judgment about it. The breath, whether it's long or short, deep or shallow, we can follow. That is training our mind to reverse the way that we used to have. Let's say, whenever we go out to talk or to socialize with anyone else on the street or at work, most of the time we tend to be in either pose, like or dislike. We make a judgment, what we call first impression. Is that right? Either we like that person or dislike that person. We just went back and forth. That's a problem. Right? If we like the person, we have tendency to attack. If we dislike that person, we have tendency to reject or stay away. So, it starts with our breath. We train ourselves to reverse the pattern so that we can remain calm, we remain peaceful, to be in that middle way, right? In the equivalent ways of the pendulum, we not to swing back and forth between like this, like just stay in the middle and start with our breath. Get follow our breath in the natural way. We don't need to make any judgment. Recognize us in and out, whether it's long or short, deep or shallow. Just accept that. Impartial witness to our own experience with our breath, our sensation, our body, and even with our feeling too. Not to the stream of just mind, because every day, whenever we read the news on the internet or on newspaper and so forth, all kind of judgment, good, bad, and so forth. We've been bombarded with that. We've been indulgent with that kind of judgment. So that's why in meditation we need to reverse that. So this is the important attitude that we should have in order to calm the mind. Otherwise, it's not easy. Here, no judgment. Mindfulness is like both non-judgmental and judgment with respect to our thought, impulse, urge, desire, interest, and so forth. But sometimes, as human, yes, sometimes we need to make a judgment between good, bad. We cannot stop to think, oh, whenever someone carry the gun to this room, we cannot sit still, right? Or if our children, they mess around with drugs, we need to stay out, tell them to say no or not don't invoke that. Because if you live in communities, in society, we have to have some kind of you say that the general judgment, but still in meditation, we need to reverse or let go of them so that they can be free, that we can be free of those kind of judgment. And yes, you are not your friend. Yeah. Okay, here. Good, bad, up, down, skill, right? No judgment. This is the important attitude. Sorry, okay, again, non-judgmental is so important. That again, start with our feeling, with the observance of breath and so forth, so that whenever we deal with people, we're free from that type of judgmental thought, and we see them as the way they are, instead of how they dress, their clothes, how they talk to us, or based on their nationality, based on their religious background, and so forth. So if we are free of that kind of judgmental thought, we see them in the whole pictures instead of some angles only. So that's so important. And yes, with our training of meditation, we start with the breath. Without that kind of training, it's not easy, because as humans, we've been indoctrinated with kind of judgmental thought most of the time. So we need to reverse that with this one. Okay. The next one.
What does the cartoon say?
Yes?
What did the cartoon say?
Which one? This one?
No,
No,
the
the
last
previous
one.
one.
Which one?
On the bottom there.
On the
Oh.
bottom. There's nothing.
Nothing. Oh, this is the black view. It is some on the computer. Accident. This 2 months we're talking about accident.
There's nothing.
There's nothing on.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Let's watch that.
Let's
Excellent. Let's watch that.
Okay, patience. Again, of course, most of us here know this kind of virtue, and we teach our children and our grandchildren about this virtue. This is universal. It's so important, right? Especially while we do meditation, without patience, without intention, there's no way for us to recognize our mind, our thought in deeper and profound sense. Let's say, if we just sit only a few minutes, there's no way for us to recognize the rhythm of our thought, right? Pop up and down, how we see our monkey mind jump here and there. So that's why the longer we sit, the better chance for us to recognize it. That's why, in Buddhist traditions, especially the Zen traditions, in Zen traditions, many Zen masters, they sit days and days, weeks or even months, so that they can enter what called samadhi or jhana, or the meditative state of mind. And at that time, they could see many layers of our thoughts. So of course, it's required a lot of patience. Without patience, it's not easy. When we sit there, sometimes because of our busy life, right? While we sit there, suddenly we have the thought, oh, I have to make a phone call to my friends. Oh, I have to send an email to my friends. Oh, I forgot this and that. And if we don't remind ourselves, okay, just sit still, forget that. Enjoy the present moment. We know we set up, let's say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and so forth. for this meditation alone, and let's go up those in, so we could be focused easily. Otherwise, without patient, there's no way for us to see our mind in deeper sense. And plus, if we sit indoor, it's great. But if what happens if it's outdoor with mosquito, with fly, or sometimes at home, right? If you live alone, that's great. If while you meditation somehow your spouse, your children, they turn on the television, the music, and so forth, right? Sometimes bother, and sometimes your pet, your dog, cat, they run around. who used to meditate and your dog and cat come to sit on your lap. I have some friends. He's professor at UVL. He said most of the time when he sits, his dog cat will jump on his lap, lie down there peacefully. So again, we have to be patient, and even while we sit there, somehow we feel that it's itchy, right? It's just, if we have some kind of allergy, right, or if sometimes it's so painful, or our neck, our back, sometimes it's so tired, right? So we have to be patient with that. And of course, if it's too much, yes, it's better for us to go to rest, go to lie down. But if we can handle, it's great. And even if you sit in meditation in cross-legged position, or you do, it's painful sometimes.
After a while.
You get used to that?
I do.
Oh, good. This is quite a patient then.
I tried to sit on the chair after years of sitting on the floor, and it just wasn't comfortable. I think because I started on the floor.
Yeah, if you get used of sitting in this position, we call lotus position, full lotus position is in cross the leg. It's easy to stabilize your body, and that's the position that many Zen masters encourage us to have, so that we can enter samadhi easily, because it's like a triangle, right? Shape, right? Whether you look in any direction, front, back, left or right. So it's still stable, but of course it's required a lot of patience. It's because sometimes if you cross your leg like this one, it's painful, right? And that's why many people, when they think about meditation, first thing they think about pain. It's so painful for me to cross my leg. But I say, don't worry, if you don't sit in your full lotus, you can do half lotus or otherwise. Not that's okay. You can sit on the chair. That's fine. To control the mind is more important. That's the primary one. The body is just central concern. You can sit on the chair, on the floor, the sofa. It's up to you. Or you sit in that kind of what we call the Japanese style, right? You put your leg down. That's fine too. As much as you feel comfortable, but still, it is some kind of patience too, right? With the body and with the mind. Like I just told you, why we follow the breath somehow. Oh, it's so boring. I need to make a call. I need to. Is that right? Be patient with your body and be patient with your mind too. It's so important. Yeah. Without that, it's not easy. And sometimes, here, two things define you. You're patient when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. And of course, patience it cannot be acquired overnight. It takes time. It takes time to build up. That's the virtue, right? And especially in meditation, we have to be patient with our body, our mind, our environment, other people, and so forth. In order to stay with that session, right? Whether it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30, or 1 hour. So that proper attitude we need to have. Okay, next one, beginner mind. And when you recognize, most you recognize us. Why is that? Why beginner is so important? I just tell the story that a professor went to visit a Zen master. I don't know whether you read this story yet. And this professor said, no, can you show me how to do meditation? And yes, the master said, okay, please sit down to have tea. Alright, yes. So why they sat down and the Zen master pour the tea into the cup until the water spilled out. And it's still pouring the water. And the worship said, hey, the water is spilling on the table. So the Zen master poked the pot down and said, so does your mind. You understand that? You understand what it means? If your mind full with knowledge, there's no way. There's no way to accept more. You have to have this beginner mind. Open mind, attitude to learn. That's why in Zen tradition, they say you have to have that kind of innocent mind or beginner mind, so that you could be receptive in any teaching. If you say, oh, I know everything. If you are a teacher, anyone you are a teacher still? Or you are? Okay. When you go to school and you come to class and you're really ready to teach a student, as one student, some students say, oh no, I know already. What happened? They close their mind. They would not learn anymore. So that's why beginner mind is so important. We need to see things in the fresh eyes. In any kind of relationship too. Right, let's say, remember the first time that you met your spouse? It's so wonderful. That's all right. But what happened now? You know each other well. That's why it's good that I heard that sometimes people have what we call annual commitment. What would you call that one? They celebrate their what call that one? Renew the vow right away, right? We see each other in the fresh eyes. Otherwise, if you see each other in the old eyes, old face, what happened? Nothing occur. You understand that? Yeah, it's just our form, and that's what we did our friends, the friends manner too. That's why sometimes people say it's easy for me to convince my friends, but it's not easy for me to deal with my family members. You know why? It's not easy to convince them any aspect of life. Why? Because they know your background, they know all your stuff, and so do you. So that's why again, it's really important. See it in the fresh eye. Every section of meditation requires this kind of fresh eyes, fresh thought. If you remember, oh, let's say you have some problem with your meditation last couple of days, and we say, oh no, again, what happened? We get stuck again. Makes sense? But if you say, oh, forget that. Present, we just start fresh. With happiness, with tipness, with now, that's okay. Just start fresh. If we have problems with any obstruction in the past few days, that's okay. Just pass it past. We just start fresh. You understand that? It's with that attitude. It's easy for us to refresh our mind. It is for us to approach to or to practice that kind of meditation. Otherwise, if you think about how painful when you cross your leg, you understand that? It will be stigma that you would not have to sit anymore. It will be some kind of some kind of obstruction. So we have to see yourself afresh, physically, mentally. We see other people when you deal with them too. It is so important. And every movement is a unique, right? Contain unique possibility. So every session of meditation is different. There's no two things are alike. So that's why beginner mind is so important. Now here, in beginner mind there's many possibility. In this expert mind is a few. Understand that, right? That analogy I get you that story, right? Have you minded to be fresh? Okay. The next one. Okay, here, of course, I just told you, forgiveness is one of the important factors that we need to have. And of course, it's universal in our life. We have all kinds of people who got in our nerves, who push our burden so many times. that we could not handle, right? But again, look at here. Forgiveness means giving up all bad past. No, past can pass. It's a gift to us. Okay, forgive others not because they deserve forgiveness, because you deserve peace. When you let go, we forgive that other people mistake. You made that peace with yourself, and that's universal. Otherwise, it's tied up. Right? It's can't tie ourselves out. When you sit there and we just think about that kind of people, stop there. Right? That image, it raises some kind of anxiety, some kind of anger, some kind of heartstream in your mind and body when you think about that person, right? So it's better to let them go. Otherwise, it's so harmful to ourselves and others. It's this obstruction. There's no way for us to progress in our meditation session, and that's why forgiveness is so important. And again, this one, the next one is trust. We need to trust ourselves. Without this trust, it's not easy. In any circumstances, right, in our life, if we don't trust ourselves to do the work, there's no way for us to accomplish the goal. Is that right? If we don't trust ourselves how to drive a car on the street, on the road, it's not easy. I have some ladies, they're so frightened to ride on the freeway. Right? Of course, we need to have that kind of self-confidence in ourselves, whichever way we do. And we used to teach our children and young children with that kind of self-confidence. If someone has low self-esteem, it's not easy for them to do things in life. So that's why in meditation we trust ourselves that yes, for this session, it's not something of accomplishment. Yes, I can do it. I can calm my mind. I trust myself that I can calm my mind. I can have that kind of peacefulness with this session. It's so important. And trust in your own authority and preparation. And even you make mistakes along the way, that's right. That's okay too. And here, I believe in me. Self-confidence is a superpower. This one here. Yeah. Be nice to everyone. Be friends with a few. Trust one person. Cause yourself. Before we ask other people to believe in us, to trust ourselves, what happens? If we don't trust ourselves, there's no way for them. There's no way for them to trust us without we trust ourselves. Right? Trust ourselves. Trust yourself to be the kind of self that you will be happy to live with all of your life. To be who you are. So that is so important. So that's why when we sit down, we trust ourselves that yes, we have the ability to finish the session, and after that we'll be happy, we'll be more peaceful. And the next one, equanimity is so important here. Here's the difference. The aim of happiness, want to be happy, get frightened of losing the happiness, right? Expectation. Unhappy when we aren't feel happy. So we are obsessed with maintaining a feeling. But here it's different. Want to see clearly, want to learn, reduce suffering, practice being consistently calm and optimistic. I'll be able to ride the storm, to go beyond the storm, to accept reality, to keep our mind balanced here. And this kind of storm is a quality mental calmness, composure, liveliness of temper, keep our mind at a stable position. Of course, with that kind of attitude, it will be helpful for us to do meditation. And vice versa, when we do meditation, we have that kind of equanimity too. With that kind of calmness, with that kind of equilibrium, with that kind of liveliness in our tempers. That's important too. And this one here, and that's one non-striving. Now, some of you know about this attitude, right? Why why is long driving so important? Look at here. Expectation. Why? Well, expectation is a danger. You know why? I used to tell my students, whenever you walk into the room to take a test, and if you expect yourself to have an A on the test, probably you fail. In the same that you may not get that A. You understand that? Why? Of course, it happened to many of us, or most of us. If we expect too much about the result, what happens then? Especially for the student, they be nervous. They have the kind of anxiety, right? The kind of problem that if they could not get that good that A, you understand that? So in our life, right, if we have some kind of expectation for our spouse, right, whichever way we expect them, but what happened? But they somehow they don't turn around that the way that we expect. We frustrate, and that kind of relationship may be fractured sooner or later. Or if you work in the business, right? Of course, we put some kind of role, right? But what happens if we expect too much about the growth of our business, and if it doesn't meet with that type of goal, what happens then? We frustrate. So especially in meditation, when you sit down there and you expect, oh, after this 15 minutes, I'll be fine, I'll be calm, and so forth. What happens then? We create more anxiety for ourselves. You know, right? I used to tell a story that one lady suffered from problem with her ankles, and she went to see a doctor, and of course she paid for a doctor visit. After she got back, the problem is still there, and she's so angry. She said the doctor is supposed to treat her ankles better, but now I get worse. The expectation there, it gets worse in her mind and body. She said that she paid for the visit, and she expects that the doctor will cure her illness. That's not the case. You understand that? So with that type of expectation, we have ourselves. Let's say we put the, in the past, you have the horse, right? And you see the Amish people around here. Is they around here? No, not much. Right? In Indiana, in some county like Washington, Oregon, and so forth. Sometimes I take my children, my students to visit them. You see, they still run the horse, right? The horse will still carry the cart, right? And the expectation like you put the cart in front of the horse. Is that right? Put the expectation and it's block your views. Make sense? So that's why in meditation, yes, enjoy that very present moment of your life, the moment that you sit there and let go of any kind of expectation, whether it's good or bad, just accept that. That's the next one we talk about, right? If we put that expectation, if we try to have that kind of up to that expectation, we get stuck then. Here, meditation has no goal other than for you to be yourself. Remember at the beginning, I talked about the value, right? The value of our life, what we want to do for our life here on this earth. The value is different from setting expectation. Let me give one example. Let's say from your house, you drive from your house to here to this center. Yes, but you will depart from your house, and here is the destination, right? But what happened? Like this morning, I went from my temple on New Culture to here, and on the 65 to the essence of 265. It gets stuck there with the whole traffic. Did you get that? Did you encounter that type of traffic? Yes, we got that. We encountered that type of traffic. What happened? If we expect that we have to be rushed, have to be here on time and so forth, we have to clear the traffic for us to go. It will create more anxiety, more stress. Understand? We just go with the flow. That's the point. We know our departure place, we know our destination. When we come to the car, just go with the flow. We enjoy the moment of our driving. If we expect that the road is clear for us to drive, sorry, it won't be. Understand that? So we can go with flow. If the traffic, that's fine. If the road is clear, that's fine too. You understand that? So that's why don't put the cart in front of the horse, right? So that's why just be with ourselves, right? Just enjoy that moment, the moment that we inhale and exhale, the moment that we sit here. Don't expect that after our session we be enlightened. No way. We be enlightened person. There's no way. Or we be smart and we be wise and so forth. Don't expect anything. Pay attention to how you are now. However, that is just watch. You enjoy this present moment. Don't try. Of course, you need to understand that somehow we have to diligently practice our meditation. You know, right? We need to set our time, right? 15 minutes, 30 minutes, so forth. That's just our effort. But still, while we sit there, let things go. Again, like I just told you, go with the flow. It's not easy. Most of us here probably take time, take years for us to understand that kind of concept, that kind of principle to apply in our life. It's not easy. What happens if we don't go with the flow? But remember, I used to say, go with the flow, but stick with your principle. You understand that? Like, yeah, our principle, we drive from our house to here, that's our principle. We keep up with that goal, right? We keep up with that principle, but go with the flow. Be flexible with the circumstances, conditions. It's not easy. Even, you know, we just have a summer camp for the children at my monastery, and some students, they feel good. Somehow they overthinking about their school, about their work and so forth. They expect themselves so much. And I ask some students, even their parents don't expect them too much with themselves. They expect themselves to be a top, right? Top 5, top 10, whichever. Or they expect themselves to get into the elite school and so forth. They stress out a lot. So a lot of them, they may say like, that's good for them to study hard. That's good. That's why we encourage them. But still, sometimes it's overload. It's so overboard. And that's why it's better for us if we want to enjoy our life. Like just give you that example. Walking flow. We know our destination. Just drive and go to flow. And I think some of you have read some technical books about you know, when we stop our car at the stoplight or at the light. Yeah, there's a moment that we go back to our breath again. Remind ourselves to be present with our breath again, right? Again, my point is, if we train ourselves in the way that we go to the flow, but stick to our principle, our life much easy. So that's so important. Oh, sorry, it's 2:11:20. Oh, here again. No expectation, no disappointment. Don't blame people for disappointing you. Blame yourself for expecting too much. Yeah. Okay. Let's say since this is almost 11. How about take 5 minutes of observing our breath? Okay, and after that we can come back. Okay. You like that, sister? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, I will set up the times. You can stretch out, you can stand up, and stretch. It's up to you. Yeah, because I will sit for an hour already. So we can stretch out a little bit. And we can sit 5 minutes. And after that, we will
anh nào không